Welcome to the Chaos Plan, where the odds may not always be in your favor. Thank you once again for joining us for another episode of the Chaos Plan. I am joined this week by Thorun, Fimdeer, and Aura. They have all just braved the Ragefire Chasm and managed to get out of there mostly in one piece, carrying some new loot and coin with them. So you guys then, as I said, managed to get out of Ragefire Chasm mostly in one piece with some new coin, and all of you decided to call it a night before rising on the morning of the 24th. So what all would you guys like to do? It's a brand new day, your coin purse is a little bit heavier, and you've got some new gear to carry along with you. What all would you guys be doing?
I would probably be heading down to the Fighters Guild to check out any jobs they might have, or like if there's like a tournament to join in on or something to make it a little bit more cash.
Okay, and you're going to go to the Fighters Guild then, or are you going to go to the job board and look for a job from the Fighters Guild?
I'm going to look for a job. Yeah, I'll probably go to the job board and look for a job from the Fighters Guild first.
Okay, so you get up fairly early in the morning. We'll call it 8 or 9. You know, nothing too crazy. You had a rough day yesterday there in the chasm. So you make your way down to the job board. We'll go ahead then and Viridian. What would you like to do with your morning?
I'll probably just start off by doing some blacksmithing, continuing working on the research that I have, the one gun barrel thing that I've been researching. I'll spend some time working on that. Okay,
not a problem. Let's go ahead and, I believe we were doing it, you had to dedicate a certain amount of downtime days, but we'll go ahead and say that you're fairly inspired and you got some pretty awesome ore and different stones and rocks and metals and things from within the Ragefire Chasm. So you are inspired, let's say, this morning. Go ahead and roll me a crafting check then.
Okay. That's an 8.
An 8. All right, you didn't really make a whole lot of progress, but you kind of got everything sorted out, so you know where you need to go from here in order to, start making progress on that barrel.
Okay.
So we'll say that you spent about an hour or so on that. We can call it about 7-ish in the morning when you started, if you'd like.
That's fine.
Okay, so then what would you like to do from here after spending about an hour working on the barrel? Would you spend most of the day doing that, or are you going to go look for anything else to do?
I'd probably spend most of the day doing that, or I'd go train for a little bit and then see if there's any job postings. See if I can't get a little extra cash and some ore and stuff.
Okay, so what time would you head out to the job board, do you think?
Probably around mid-morning.
Okay, so 9 or 10?
Probably, yeah, about 10-ish.
All right, so then you go out into the training yard this morning, you do your warm-up forms and all of that kind of stuff, getting yourself ready for the morning and stretched and limbered, all of that. And then you make your way down to the job posting boards. Fimdeer, what would you like to do with your day?
Oh goodness, everyone's so eager to get back to work. Well, I would quite like to take some time, just from where I'm staying, to write up a report on exactly my activities over the past week. I will do my best to map out the new routes that we took, as well as what we explored. I will seal that and do my best to have that sent back to the Discovery Conclave, which will be all the way back home.
Okay.
Yes, I want to have a formal report sent back.
Awesome. All right, then go ahead and roll me a history check real quick, just to make sure you remember. History or survival, one of the two. To make sure you have all the turns and the maps and all that kind of stuff figured out. Or I guess if you have proficiency in cartographer's tools, you could do that.
That was an 11 plus 4 plus another 4 for expertise. So that is 19 to survival.
19, yes. This report, not only is it very well written with all the correct details in there, but your sketches and your rough maps that you put in were good enough that you can actually get a fairly detailed map of everything that was within there. So I will go ahead and after we get done with this, I'll send you in chat that map module kind of a thing. So if you ever end up there again, or you can possibly sell that map to different individuals later on.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So I'll say that took most of the morning not most of the morning, but that took a fairly good amount of the morning to get it done. We'll call it about 2-3 hours with how detailed your sketch was. It would be between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning. What would you like to do from here?
Well, from that point, I was just going to go through my routines, and I'm going to go through a quick scouting run of the city again, taking the longest route I can before returning. Perhaps grabbing something to eat while I'm out. But yes, I'll go through my scouting runs.
Okay, yeah. You're able to kind of make your way around the outskirts of the city without any kind of problem. Would you go down the main roads at all, or would you mostly just stick to that outskirt?
I would weave in and out, so probably go through the main roads a few times.
Okay. All right. As you'd be coming around you and all the way around the governmental side of the city, and we're coming down the East Road and around through the Temples, Fighters, Merchants, and Mages Guild area, and you happen to spot Aura and Thorun standing right by the job board. Would you approach them at all, or would you just kind of continue on?
Oh, I approached them, but do so very quietly and just kind of peer over, just not announcing myself.
All right, go ahead and roll a stealth check, and you two can roll a perception check, contesting that.
Okay. Oh, that is 26.
26. Okay.
Nope.
It's 18 plus 8.
That is awesome. Virgil, Hope?
Not quite.
Okay. So you are able to one-shot them without a problem, and their bodies fall. No.
Very good, guys. Good job.
Okay, so you guys don't notice Fimdeer coming up behind. You guys meet up there at the job board, Virgil, Aura. You guys see each other there right as you kind of both arrive about the same time. You're looking for different job postings, and Aura, you do find that there is a fairly quick job, for lack of a better term. They're just looking for individuals to look into some missing persons reports. Some individuals have turned up missing within the city, and they aren't super important individuals, so they're not too worried about it. They just kind of want somebody to check up on what's going on. It appears to be kind of an ongoing thing, so it isn't one you would have a strict time limit on, but one that pays pretty decent. It looks like they're paying, let's go ahead and roll, 1 gold and 3 silver a day for each individual that wants to sign up and take this on.
Yes, it's at this point you hear just a voice just behind you say, "That does sound very interesting, doesn't it?"
God.
Yes, make rolls to not piss your pants.
That's an 8.
That's an 11.
Hope you lose.
Little trickle. Little trickle.
Yeah, hope you lose your gold star for the day.
Oh.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh, sorry, my intention was not to startle.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay, so
I'm almost forgiven.
yes, so you guys see on that job posting that there isn't really a limit to the number of people that can be involved. You see that it has just very basic information that a lot of individuals have been disappearing in the Cauldron and in the docks area of Port City recently. There have been other strange reports of nobles and guildsmen disappearing, but with Mages Guild members and Tinkers Guild members, you never know what portal they might accidentally walk into. And nobles have a very bad habit of telling anybody what they're doing because they're nobles and they don't want anybody to know. So those reports have been harder to track down, but there have been a lot of individuals in the Cauldron and Commons have seemingly disappeared or had family disappeared. And it says to inquire with the Fighters Guild.
All right. Well, I guess we should probably head down to the Fighters Guild then.
Yeah, you guys make your way down there, and there is a very... let me go ahead. Race and class. Yeah, very stereotypical. There is a very large orc barbarian-looking individual, a shirtless orc with a great axe strapped to his back. And he is standing right by the front doors, and you can tell that he's kind of the on-call person for the day to answer questions and sign contracts out and all that kind of stuff. He recognizes you, Thorun, and says, "Oh, you do job today?"
Yes, I do job today.
Oh, sounds good. Paper, please.
Did we grab the paper for it?
Yeah, you would have, I'm sure, pulled it down and brought it to
Okay,
there.
yeah, I hand him the piece of paper.
He says, "Yes, very strange circumstance. Lots of people disappearing. It's very worrying. Have friends down in the cauldron."
Have any of them gone missing?
"Not yet, but you never know. Sometimes they end up in bars and don't remember what happened the last couple days." And he smacks you in the back very good-naturedly and almost sends you reeling.
Oh no.
Okay, he since you are a member of the Fighters Guild, Virgil, and he entrusts it that your party members would be trustworthy as well, he only has to mark your name down, and no weird tracking or blood drawings involved this time around. So you are able to get that job assigned to you, basically, and it mentions that there are 5 families in the Cauldron area that you should talk to. And there are several individuals in the docks, but since it is very temporary housing and kind of tents and hovels set up, they don't really have addresses for them. So these names are, and let me get up my fantasy name generator. All right, so the names are, and I'm going to go ahead and type them in. We'll go with Chaos Plan chat so that you guys have them. There is the Yith family, the Hawker family, the Durgan family, the Ak family, and the Cradle family. So I just put that up in the Chaos Plan chat for you guys to see, so you have. So you would know that those are the 5 families in the Cauldron area that you would need to speak to kind of get some information on what's going on, because either a member of those families or a relative, close friend, something like that has disappeared. If you want to search down by the docks, you would need to just kind of look around and ask questions. I don't really keep track much of who's in the docks because it's a very transient location.
Well, I'm sure that 4th family's okay.
Okay. So, where would you guys like to go first? Would you like to investigate the... and then I need the noble family. Sorry, 2 seconds. We're going to go with the Nezrin, the noble family. All right, so those are the families that you would need to talk to get any kind of details.
Alrighty. Well, I'd say start with the families, since we know exactly who they are. Mm-hmm. Just go down, get information, then get to the docks afterwards and see what we can't scrounge around there.
Okay, so which family are you going to start with?
The Durgans.
Durgan, okay. So you head down to the Cauldron area, and the Durgan family is a... we're going to just go ahead and say that they're Genasi. They are a Genasi family. Let's go with Earth. They are an Earth Genasi family that lives there in the Cauldron area. They are 2nd generation there, so not super well known or established, but they've been living there for long enough that they have a home and some sort of successful job type deal. So you approach their house. It's a small little, I don't want to call it a shack, but it's definitely on the more run-down side. You can tell that this is definitely a laboring family, but some sort of manual labor type work. Farmers or something along those lines, since they're Earth Genasi. Do you just approach and knock on the door, or do you kind of want to wait for somebody to come out? What would you like to do?
What's our game here? How are we approaching this?
Might as well just go up and knock. Let them know that we don't really need any harm. We're just gonna ask questions. Might as well just knock.
Yeah.
I suppose so. I mean, you make it sound really simple when you just put it like that.
You know.
Okay, so you just kind of go up and knock then?
Yeah, I just go up to the door and start knocking on it.
I'll be the bad cop.
Yeah, okay. That's awesome. I'm expecting some sort of like fantasy sunglasses to come out that, completely, opaque so people can't see your eyes at all.
Yeah.
All right, so you knock on the door and a very elderly Genasi comes to the door. He kind of looks you over and he says, I can tell that you're here on some sort of business. How can I assist you?
We're looking into these disappearances, and we heard that your family had someone disappear or might be connected somehow, and we just want to know what you know.
Oh, well, I appreciate that somebody is taking this seriously. Everybody just assumes that my boy ran off, but I know him, and he's not like that. Family is everything. My grandson is who disappeared. He was on his way to the Commons. He was putting flowers on a grave there, and we grow many different kinds of flowers on the outskirts of town, and we had been commissioned to drop them off. But all that was left was the bundle of flowers and our coin purse in the middle of the street. One minute he was there, and the next minute he just disappeared. Nobody's sure what happened.
They did not rob him?
Oh, no, the coin purse was still full. Somebody found it, saw my grandson just standing there, and then they turned to say something to their friend, and when they looked back, he was just gone.
And what's your grandson's name?
My grandson's name is... Fantasy name generator, here we go.
That's a cool name.
What a strange name.
Let's see. His name was Amen. A-M-A-N. And I'm putting all this...
Durgan?
Yes.
Amen Durgan.
Yes. I'm writing all this down in the Discord chat in the Chaos Plan deal, so each family you interview, I'll put the details down so you can have a running list of it. So, Amen, he just disappeared, like I said. No trace, no magic residue, no strange devices or ransom or anything. He just disappeared.
Do you know of anyone who might have wished Amen any harm, or was he arguing with anyone, or, was there any discord going along with him?
No, we're a simple family, simple farmers. We've been here forever and haven't had any real problems other than the occasional xenophobic individual who just showed up.
If I might ask, how old was this grandson?
He would be around 22.
I see. So capable of looking after himself.
Yes, he wasn't the strongest boy on the planet by any means, but he was very gifted in the more natural magics. We were hoping to talk to some druids and get him introduced into a grove sometime soon. I hope maybe they would be able to help. They've been sympathetic to us before.
I see. How long ago was this disappearance?
He disappeared about 13 days ago. He disappeared.
13 days?
Correct.
Do you remember the precise location he was taken from?
Yes, he was... if you guys go to the Chaos Plan website or whatever and look at the maps on Port City, he would have been taken between on the road right there between 1 and 3. He was kind of entering the cemetery there when he disappeared.
I see.
So he was going past a lot of the middle class homes. He had just kind of turned, was going down that road before by the park, between the park and the cemetery, and just disappeared.
Thank you. Well, you have been most helpful to our search.
I hope you're able to find him. haven't had any luck thus far, but you all seem fairly competent, so good luck in your search, and please let us know if you find anything. We are sure he can take care of himself, but we're getting very worried.
If we don't find him, or if he's dead, we'll bring back the body. Was I supposed to say that?
Yes, you see a single tear kind of form in his eye, and he goes, "Well, I need to be going. It was nice of you to stop by. Thank you."
Finish breathing, buddy. Okay, bye.
Before he leaves, I write down my name on a piece of paper and tell him that if you hear of anything else or think of anything else that might help us, you can give this to the Fighters Guild and find me, and then give me any information that you might have.
Yes, thank you. I will be sure to do that, and you can find me here or in the fields if I'm not here.
Alrighty. Thank you, sir.
All right, so who would you like to visit next?
Okay, who is the next funniest name? Yes, the ox.
Okay, you go to the ox, and the ox... Ooh, this would be fun.
Minotaur.
No, but the ox are a goblin family of... Let me get a profession here. D100 table. The Ox are an alchemist family of goblins. So his name is Plague Ock, is the one who disappeared. So you find this a little bit nicer building than what the Durgan have, but it's not a home as much as it is a shop. It looks like they kind of have a small second floor or back room type area that they live in within an alchemist shop up front. It doesn't appear to be a very upscale alchemist shop. It appears to be more along the lines of common medicines, fertilizers, smoke, bombs kind of a thing, alchemist fire, acid, nothing too crazy. No health potions, no real potions at all to speak of. So would you enter into the shop and look around, or would you kind of try to identify some of the family and catch them away from the shop? What would you like to do?
I'd just enter the shop.
All right. You enter into the shop and you see a middle-aged looking goblin woman who is standing behind the counter, and she says, "How can I help you?"
Hi, we're looking into the disappearances that have been happening around here, and we were told that you might be able to help us.
Oh, yes! Well, we would really appreciate some help. Nobody takes us seriously in this town. They all think we should be down at the docks, but we have worked our way up. We are a famous alchemists in this area. Poor Plog. We sent him out to go get herbs from outside in the Elven District, and he disappeared. Oh, poor Plog. We're famous alchemists. We're big time. Why would anybody kidnap him?
Have any of us heard of these alchemists?
No, you guys have not heard of these alchemists.
Oh, yes, of course. I've heard about you before from, I look around, I see like a pot. Potter! Yes, he told me all about you.
Oh, yes, we're very famous. Glad you heard about us.
Of course.
Please help us find our son, Plog. You return him and we make you elixir of immortality.
Let me see. How long ago did he disappear?
He disappeared 5 days ago.
And
Oh, go ahead.
It was in the Elven District?
He was going to the Elven District, yes. The elves have the best herbs. He was going there to buy herbs, but he never returned. When we went over there, they said that he purchased what he needed to, and they saw him leave through the gate, but the guards on the other side of the gate never saw him come back.
So not in the Elven District then? Oh, no, what? Yes, he left into the Elven District through the gates, and then he came back through.
Right. Yes, he disappeared in the gate. Somebody had to have taken him, pulled him into one of the guard towers, but they say they didn't. Those guards, they don't trust us goblins. It has to be them.
Oh, right, yes. Well, it seems there's no connection in terms of location of them going missing.
I can't think of any other questions. Was anybody a witness, or did see him disappear, or just he was there and then gone?
Guards say he never came through. Elves say he went through. Somebody lying somewhere.
Interesting.
Well, apparently people saw the Durgan boy be taken away. Perhaps locals around the area might have a bit more information on that.
Possibly.
I'll have to revisit it.
Indeed. Same thing with the last person. I write my name on a piece of paper and give it to her, and you can tell her, same spiel, if she has any more information, to contact the Fighters Guild and give them this. They can get a hold of them.
Oh, thank you. Remember, we have a potion of immortality if you find him, so find him quickly.
Potion of immortality.
Yes, it works. I'm not dead yet. I took it myself.
I suppose by that logic, everyone is immortal till proven mortal.
Yes, immortal. I'm immortal. We must find Plug. Plug immortal too. Don't know where he disappeared to.
I suppose he's not in much danger then, but okay.
Yes, find him, please. We make you immortal.
One more question for you. Do you happen to remember do you remember perhaps Earth Genasi coming through here within the last month named Amin?
Oh, no, we don't see many Earth Genasi unless they're selling us herbs. But I do not remember any Amin.
Alright.
I wanna do an insight check.
Okay, go ahead.
11.
You're pretty sure she's telling the truth. She's definitely believes a lot of what she's saying, but she's trying to sell you an immortality potion, so you never can be quite sure.
She seems like she's got a trustworthy face.
Alright, well, thank you so much for answering all our questions.
Thank you.
All right, and there's the information for that one.
Hawker.
Yes.
Hawker. All right, so the Hawker family is a group of Kenku, and they are researchers of sorts. So they are very learned individuals, but they choose to live in the cauldron because they don't like some of the xenophobic tendencies of the other areas, the more middle class, more quote-unquote human areas. And the individual that disappeared was the name of Podya, Podya. Podya, and she is a Kenku that was known mostly for not only having that perfect recall of voices and whatnot, but she could also inflect ideas very, very well. She was very empathetic and very able to put into words what people mean as opposed to exactly what they're saying, which is a very strange trait for a Kenku to have. So they would be living more towards the middle class and guild area as opposed to the southern area closer to the docks.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume that these Kenku researchers have been shunned by the research community for rampant plagiarism.
Yes, exactly. That's why they're here. They're here in Port City specifically because individuals of the Kenku are, like you said, very prone to copying the work of others and are shunned, even though many of them have brilliant minds. They just can't be individualistic on their own. They have to have something to copy. And you would also know that Podya actually lived alone.
Oh.
So would you visit her home?
Perhaps we should visit the family first, then the home, and we can have a poke around, if it's relevant.
Okay, so the Hawker family lives very close to where Podya did as well. They live just kind of a couple blocks over, for lack of an easier way to put that. And would you go up and knock on the door?
Yes.
All right. You knock on the door, and Oriel, like the bird, Oriel is the name of the Kenku that answers, and they say, "Hello, how can I help you?"
We're looking into the disappearance of Podya.
Yes, Podya disappeared many weeks ago.
Weeks.
Do you know
Yes.
how many days?
39 days.
39 days. Well, goodness. Do you know exactly anything about this disappearance? Where they were? What they were trying to do?
She was in her home, and nobody knew what happened. The door was barricaded from the inside.
She was held up in her home.
She lived alone in a small apartment, and the door was bolted from the inside. There are no windows on the inside, but there was nobody there when they came. And it was a bar, so it could not have been set any other way.
What was she researching?
Go ahead and roll me a d10, Virgil.
8.
She was researching religious symbology, so religious icons and imagery and that kind of thing.
Did make a breakthrough in anything recently?
Not that I was aware of, but she was very secretive about her work. As you can understand, it is very easy for things we discover to be taken by others and vice versa.
No, she was a very private person, kept to her house.
Yes, much more private than many of our folk are.
Could you mind giving us the address to where she lived? We would wish to have a look and examine the crime scene for ourselves.
Oh, yes, I would be very happy to. And he directs you up the block, up the block, over 4 houses down, 2nd floor, gives you the directions to where you need to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very extensive vocabulary for a Kenku.
Yes, this would be a very old Kenku by the standards of Kenku. Podia being very private, you would suspect she would have a very, very vocabulary.
How old was Piodia?
They reach maturity at 12 years old and can live to 60. So the Kenku that you talked to originally would have been somewhere in his 50 or in there, because I didn't specify gender, would be in their 50s, and Podia would be probably 15 or so. So fairly young, first moving out on their own, going to college, that kind of age, old enough to make their own decisions, but not always having the best decision-making ability.
And have your family had any issues with any xenophobic people around here or anything like that?
Not many. Most left us alone or were afraid to talk around us.
I see. Fimdeer, do you have any more questions, or?
Oh, nothing appropriate.
Okay, so then do you head over to Podia's house or apartment? All right. You head over towards that area and you see that there was kind of an outside staircase to a very small 2nd floor type apartment. You're guessing it was probably something along the lines of an old temple or something that the bell tower type area had been converted. So it's only about 5 by 10, very, very small accommodations. But there is a balcony that kind of goes all the way around, and you could see that there was a small chair set up out there and a small side table, so kind of utilizing that outside space. You see that the door has also been definitely broken in. You're guessing by whoever discovered that she was missing, fearing for her life or something, broke in the door, and it's just kind of been haphazardly closed and kind of a rope tied around it to keep it shut from inclement weather. You open up the door and you see, or I guess, is there anything you would like to do before you open the door outside?
Yes, actually. Can I sort of identify how the door was broken?
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
That's pretty good. That's 20.
20. You can tell that the door was definitely pried open, so it looks like an axe or something was used to make a notch, and then something was shoved inside to break that bar from the inside. So the hinges and the wall is still intact, but the board on the inside is shut.
Okay, I relay as much as I can.
Okay. So then do you guys want to open it up and go inside?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you open it up and go inside. You can already tell that the family has probably taken most of the personal belongings out of the room, as there are a couple of scraps of parchment laying around, but nothing with anything important on it. You can tell that there's lots of books missing out of the small bookshelf that was on the wall. Nothing too crazy left, just the standard books books would be a little bit expensive, but these wouldn't be great copies. These are, 5th or 6th hand copies that are pretty, threadbare and whatnot. You can see that the spines are pages broken, that kind of stuff. There is a small bed that looks to not have been made. Looks like somebody sat on it a lot, kind of being worn in the middle, kind of seating, in the middle of the bed, kind of like somebody had been sitting there using it as a workspace. And then there is a small table in the corner that has a couple of personal possessions and a wilted herb, flower, or something or other. You're not sure. It definitely hasn't been watered in since they left.
I suppose the first thing to look for would be with signs of any struggle.
Other than well, go ahead and roll me an investigation or perception check.
I'll do perception.
Okay.
It is a natural 20.
A natural 20. That is fantastic. Like I said, you notice that the bed has a definite kind of indent in it where somebody would have been sitting on the bed. You can see that the bookshelf, there are probably 5 or 6 books missing. They would be all on the right hand of the stack. The left hand of the stack appears to all kind of be older books that are halfway fallen over. The table had a pile of papers on it, but looks like they've been gone through. They're all stacked on one side, and you can tell that there was probably more in the middle. They're kind of a natural spot. There are lots of broken quills on the ground, as well as several ink splotches on the table where ink has definitely been dropped or spilled. And other than the claw marks kind of on the floor because of the talons and whatnot, you don't see anything that would indicate a struggle in this room. It looks like somebody just packed up the essentials and walked out. But the door had obviously been broken by whoever entered.
I'd like to go over to her desk. I want to open up the drawers and see if there are any hidden compartments in it. Just kind of looking through to see what she was actually researching. If there was any specific god or symbol or something like that.
So you see underneath the table type area, it isn't so much a desk, but there is a couple of boxes underneath the table. And in the boxes are just some more random papers. You see several sketches of different symbols that you've seen in the Temple District. You see what appears to be a flyer for the seed sowing festival, some of the different things that were going on. But you don't notice anything specific to a particular god, goddess, deity, aspect, anything.
But there was stuff about the seed sowing and stuff like that?
Yeah, there was just a general flyer for some of the food stands, what time the bonfire would be going on. Just kind of a general information flyer would have been handed to her on the street.
Okay.
And you could see that it was crumpled up and thrown in that box. It definitely wasn't, neatly laid in there. You don't suppose that she probably went to that festival. Other than that, on the outside of the apartment, like I said, there's a small chair and another small table. It has wear marks as if something had been slid across it several times, like a glass or a bowl or a plate or something along those lines. When the weather wasn't inclement or anything. Probably she spent a lot of time outside, observing, but not necessarily taking part in anything. You can definitely tell that, judging from the amounts of scratches on the floor and the indent on the bed, that she was very introverted and didn't get out much.
Is the plant that she has, does it look like it was well taken care of until she disappeared, or can I make a nature or a medicine check to see if it's a specific kind of herb or plant?
Yeah, give me a nature check.
15.
15. All right. We're going to go ahead and say that this is an herb, a medicinal herb that is used to boost memory. So it would be a very common ingredient in a lot of potions and whatnot used by scholars and sages and researchers and that kind of thing. And you can tell that it had been clipped several times, used, clipped little bits at a time and then grown back out, that kind of thing.
She was using drugs to help her study. Okay.
Basically, it's ginkgo biloba supplement. So that kind of a thing. Nothing super crazy. And it looks like it was probably well taken care of. Like I said, there were several cuttings from it. This is a mature plant, probably, multi-season, type plant, perennial of some variety.
Okay. Can you think of anything else to look for while we're here, guys?
Not particularly. I'm not too sure if there's much we can learn here. I'm beginning to suspect that there's not really much signs of fighting or struggling. Oh, there's not much signs of, struggling or anything of the sort, so perhaps it's a use of magical means or a medical means that have incapacitated them.
Could I check to see if there's any, traces of magic left in this room?
Yeah, go ahead and give me an Arcana check. And if anybody wants to assist, they can.
Alright. That is a 15.
A 15. Other than, like I said, you can tell that the plant had some magic about it, some sort of magical effect, like a potion type effect. You eat it, it increases your cognitive abilities or whatever. Other than that, all you really see is that there is the inkwell on her desk appears to be a refilling kind. So the inkwell is kind of ever full. Other than that, there is no magic in the room that you can tell.
We're not exactly onto any great leads right now.
The only thing these people seem to have in common is that they're all gifted with something. Durgan was gifted in druidic type magics, apparently. Ox was supposedly immortal and famous. It seems Podia had a very gifted recall type memory and voice abilities. And the only other thing I really see, I don't know. These seem to be people who are all gifted in some way or another.
Well, there's also the fact that they're all quite exotic, but not well respected.
Yeah, and that would be kind of a general theme with the Cauldron. The Cauldron would be kind of the lower class, more typical fantasy race, and the better off monstrous individuals, for lack of a better term.
There's the common theme is people who were caught by themselves or lived alone, come from exotic race, but were not very well liked. It doesn't seem to be much of a culling though, so we'll have to check out the other families before we can make any call.
Okay, do you guys want to check with another family here in the Cauldron, or do you want to check out that noble family, or try and go to the docks and scrounge something out there?
We still have 2 more families to hit up.
You have Krail and Yith. Yeah, Krail and Yith here in the Cauldron, and then Nezrin is the family.
Yeah. We're here, we might as well.
So which one would you like to hit next?
Yith?
All right. Okay, Yith is going to be...
Please be Gith.
Yith. Oh my gosh, that is fantastic. Let us roll and see. You know what? We're going to go with it. I like that. That's totally fine. So, let me find the names here so I can get a first name. All right, so the Yith family is a bunch of Githyanki, and Denates is the name of the individual, Denates. Denates Yith is the one who disappeared, and they are also a researcher of type. Go ahead, Fimdeer, and give me a D10 roll.
Okay.
2, they seem to be in the study of magical components. So not like spells itself, but magical components and things along those lines. And they lived in call it a group house of sorts, consisting of 8 other individuals all living together.
How interesting.
So, do you guys just go up to that and try and find one of the other 7, I guess, then, to talk to?
Sounds good.
I just go up to the first one I see.
All right, first one we'll go ahead and say is another Githyank. So, you approach this male individual by the name of Nixius. And Nixius says that Denates is the one who disappeared. He was a very astute individual. He was one that knew not only of the planes beyond here, but of this plane. And he was studying the connections between those magical planes and this plane, being able to pull that magic through with different items and abilities. He was very astute.
How long ago did he disappear?
He disappeared 2 days ago. It is still very fresh on all of our minds.
Where did he disappear from?
He was on his way to the Mages Guild. He had just delivered a new batch of research to the guild itself and was walking back past the portal, and when everybody looked again, as a group had just walked in, there was that flash of light, and after that flash of light, he was nowhere to be seen. Everybody assumed he got pulled into the portal, but none of the other group that went through saw him.
This happened in the Mages Guild?
Right next to the Mages Guild, yes, right alongside the portal.
Did the Mages Guild investigate it all?
Yes, they did. As I said, they sent somebody in to pull him out, as he definitely was not near powerful enough to be able to handle where they were going. But when the head mage jumped through, they were unable to find him. He didn't go through, and all tracking magic was unable to locate him.
Where was the group headed?
Go ahead and Hope roll me a d10, Virgil roll me a d6, and Fimdeer roll me, or Lydia roll me a... Go ahead and roll me another d10.
That's a 3 from me.
Okay, Virgil.
2.
So up to 5, and Lydia?
9.
9, you said? Okay, so 14. They were going to this strange lighthouse that appears to be connected somehow to multiple different portal locations. It was unknown what they would find there. This lighthouse has opened up many times to many different locations.
And where is this lighthouse?
Through the portal. It's probably closed now, or will be. Oh no, it was only 2 days. It's probably going to be accessible for another week or so before it shifts out of alignment, elementally speaking.
See. What research was he going with? Did anything specific that he mentioned?
He bounced around whatever caught his fancy at the time. For a while, he was discovering new components for sleep spells, others flying spells, which ended badly and with a broken leg. And other times, he tries to discover new ways to heal or empower allies. He just flits from spell to spell, looking for new ways to cast it.
I see.
I don't know how else to help you. You may want to interview some of the mages that were there at the time. It was in the morning when he disappeared, and as it's getting pretty late in the evening, I don't know if we'll be able to find any of them today. But maybe if you head to the Mages Guild tomorrow, you could catch some of the mages that were there when it happened.
Sounds like a plan.
Indeed.
Okay. Well, then if you guys want to, we can go ahead and break from here, and maybe you can catch a couple more allies tomorrow on the 25th of planting when we meet. So thank you guys very, very much, and we will go ahead. You all earned your 1 gold and 3 silver, and we will go ahead and meet up next time when you are able to join with everybody. So thank you guys very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Chaos Plan. We hope that you enjoyed it. We have been trying to get a whole lot more games out there, and we have a lot of new members that are looking to get their first games in very, very soon. If you would like to take part in the Chaos Plan, just visit our Patreon page and you can join guaranteed. So thank you all very much, and we hope to see you next game.